Breaking this hour, senators were just voting on a second stopgap bill to fund the government. This is the Republicans' proposed funding bill. It's expected to fail. Last hour, the Democrats' proposed funding bill failed in the chamber. Barring some kind of miracle, in less than 5 hours, the government will shut down. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that roughly 750,000 federal employees could be furloughed per day if a shutdown happens. Meanwhile, Donald Trump says he intends to use this shutdown period to bypass Congress and impose his authoritarian vision on the American people.
We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like.
We can confirm now that second bill has failed. And according to Congressman Brendan Boyle, the ranking member of the House Budget Committee, neither he nor his staff were able to identify a legal authority that would allow the president to conduct mass firings during a shutdown. Joining us now, Democratic Senator Chris Coons of Delaware, hot off that vote. He is a member of the Senate Appropriations Committee.
Senator Coons, the Constitution gives Congress the power of the purse. As Alicia just noted, we checked with the Budget Committee. The president is talking about doing something that he does not have the power to do. I would argue that is illegal. One, what is Democrats' plan here? And two, just take us through what to expect over the next couple of hours.
Okay. Thank you, Simone. Great to be on with you again. First, to the point you just made, President Trump threatens to do all sorts of things that he doesn't have the legal authority to do. And in many cases, attorneys general from across the country have taken him to court and won, rolling back a lot of what DOJ did, rolling back cuts and cancellations that have impacted Americans' health care and that have impacted employment in programs that are critical to keeping our country safe and strong. What's going to happen in the next couple of hours? Senators will continue to talk to each other about whether there's any off-ramp, but Democrats are united in seeing this as a fight about health care. President Trump and the Republican majority in the House and Senate have cut tens of billions of dollars out of things that keep Americans healthy, and they've changed the law in ways that's going to increase health insurance costs starting next month, in some cases doubling them. So Republicans I've been talking to recognize that they've done too much, that they're hurting Americans, and it's going to hurt their health care, but they're not willing to make commitments quickly enough or clearly enough to change direction for us to be comfortable that that's good enough for us to keep the government open. If we go ahead and just keep the government open without any change in direction, millions of Americans will get sicker and poorer as the changes to health care get worse and worse. Look, President Trump ran on reducing costs. He's imposing tariffs that are jacking up the prices of drugs that millions of Americans take. Look, Donald Trump ran on reducing prices. He's cut the insurance affordability for tens of millions of Americans more. President Trump ran on making our country healthy again, and he's cut billions of dollars out of the organizations like the National Institutes of Health and the Centers for Disease Control that help keep us healthy. He's not delivering on those promises, and Democrats are standing up to him and demanding that we reduce or reverse some of these terrible cuts to Americans' health care.
Senator, the president also ran on getting rid of Obamacare. And essentially by increasing that insurance affordability or decreasing insurance affordability for millions of Americans. That's effectively what Republicans will do. They will have reduced or at least to their liking eliminated a very, very bad health care bill and not have to worry about replacing it with anything. Which for me, if this is the fight that this budget is all about, how then do you message to the American people so that when at 12:01 a.m. tomorrow morning, the government shuts down and all of a sudden the things that people need and try to access over the next few days, that they fully understand we are in this space, not because of Chris Coons, senator from Delaware, not because of, Democratic senator from Florida, but because of what Republicans failed to do, and that is come to the table, lay out an argument for what they wanted, address the arguments the Democrats put forward for what they wanted, for what you wanted, and come to a level of compromise so that millions of Americans won't have to suffer.
Michael, you know me. I'm someone who works across the aisle and is always willing to negotiate a better path forward. This fight is simple. It's about Democrats standing up and fighting for Americans' health care, for seeing the direction we're headed and the ways in which President Trump and Republicans in Congress are making decision after decision that makes Americans sicker and poorer and demanding that we change direction. There's going to be some real pain as a result of the government shutdown that I now expect begins at midnight. It means there's going to be millions of folks who serve our nation who won't get paid until the shutdown ends. And that has always moved me in the past to vote to keep the government open. But this time, it is as clear as it's ever been in my life that we have one party that's willing to lay off thousands of folks who research to find cures to kids' cancer or do research to help find cures to ALS, and to defund those federal agencies, and to keep moving ahead with jacking up the prices on health insurance. We can find a better way forward. I think we can negotiate our way out of this, but I don't think Republicans will take us seriously until their offices start getting flooded with calls from folks who are seeing their health insurance costs go up, and they realize Democrats are willing to stand up and fight for them.